cars being requested into Miami Township. 35 were sent and 19 were disregarded or otherwise handled. For February, we handled 11 criminal reports, 7 non-criminal reports, and 12 auto accidents. If there are any questions or concerns that I can help out with, I'd be happy to try.
All right, any questions from public? Mr. Rosen?
I can follow up, but if you wouldn't mind checking with Lieutenant McElroy on the flock cameras. I was working with Captain Stapleton prior to his retirement, and then obviously the lieutenant is off on medical leave right now, but I don't know when we anticipate him being back, and if we'll be back next month, or if that's still up in the air or not. But
we hope not to.
We have been talking about trying to get a quarterly update on those. So if you wouldn't mind making a note, but I can shoot him an email as well.
Okay, I'll see what I can do with that.
Thank you, sir.
If I happen to be presenting next month, I'll see what I can get for you.
Thanks, Sarge.
Mr. Blaine, any questions?
No, none for me, Sergeant. Thank you.
That's all I got.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great evening.
You too.
All right, so we have public presentation, public request to be on the agenda. We have Jessica Miranda here from the Hamilton County Auditor. Welcome.
Thank you, trustees. And thank you again for giving me space on your agenda tonight. We are traveling around the entire county, and as you know, being the third largest county in the state, that's a lot of ground to cover. We have about 49 different jurisdictions here in the county, as well as various organizations and social groups and things of that nature that we're going to. But the purpose of this auditor, if you will, is to introduce myself and remind the township and all of our shared constituencies that you serve what the auditor's office, the county executive office, that is the Hamilton County Auditor's Office, does for you, the taxpayers here in Hamilton County. We've had a couple different leadership changes in the auditor's office over the past 2 years. As you all know, our longtime auditor, Mr. Dusty Rhodes, retired after 32 years of stellar service in our office. And my dear friend Bridget Kelly came down from the legislature to serve as our auditor for a year before losing her battle to cancer. So I was appointed to this position in 2024 and have been serving you since then, and am interested in any feedback you may have for us and ways in which we can work together to make sure that we're serving the folks of Hamilton County the best way we can. So with that, let me see if my clicker's working here. Any special place to point? Nope. All right, go ahead to the next one. No problem. We were hopeful that the clicker would work, but technology, it's great when it's working and not so great when it doesn't. So you can go ahead to the next slide, and I'll just quickly run through who I am. Hi there.
Hi, how you
Let me
doing?
know if I'm in your way.
Okay, I don't think you are. I'm trying to, I can't see.
Oh.
So I'm trying to find you here. There you go.
So I have experience in local government. I was a school board member for the Winton Woods City School District. I also served 5.5 years in the Ohio State Legislature, which I'm happy to report is about 50 years in regular human years serving in the state capitol. So I'm proud to be standing before you in one piece. And with all I can bring to the table, and then of course now county government experience. So it's really important to me, you'll learn about me, is the relationship between each different level of government, because I feel that that is the best way that we can show up for the people in our communities and be the best public servants that we can. And by the way, trustees, you have a printed out copy in front of you of this PowerPoint presentation. So until we can get the correct slide going here, I'm on slide 3. So I'm going to roll right into the responsibilities of the county auditor. So most of you know that the county auditor is the real property assessor by state code. We value the over 350,000 parcels in the county. That's residential property, commercial property, industrial, and agricultural property. But the best way or easiest way to think of us is the county government's CFO. We pay all of the county's bills. We are the statutory payroll agent for the county's 5,000 employees, and we do that with transparency and accountability, and of course innovation is a lot of the work we're doing right now in the auditor's office to kind of transform our processes, procedures, and softwares to meet the moment of 2026. We are 1/3 of the county's Board of Revision, 1/3 of the County Budget Commission, and then we, of course, are the administrator of 2 authorized property tax relief programs here in the state of Ohio, as well as the administration of the rental registration program. So some folks may not know, but if you are a landlord in Hamilton County or anywhere in Ohio for that matter, it is state law that you have to file a rental registration form with your county auditor. We do not charge for this form, but there is a fee or a penalty if you fail to file this, and we find out about it. So that's very important. And we understand, too, that a lot of municipalities across the county are starting your own rental registration programs. We understand the need for that, certainly with all of the fraud that we've seen in our office. And I'll briefly touch on that just to show you why this program is so important. Last fall, we had some folks who were taken advantage of and scammed out of their hard-earned money because folks were pretending to be landlords of certain properties, collecting security deposits, first month's rent, and then they were never seen or heard from again. The easiest way a taxpayer can verify someone is actually the landlord of the property they are looking at is by going on our website, pulling up that property, and then pulling up the rental registration form, and it'll give you the landlord's contact. So that is the importance of that program. So if you're going to start one or already have one here in the township, we just ask that you work with us so that we can make sure both of our lists match for the taxpayers of Hamilton County. And then, of course, I'll touch on both of the property tax relief programs that are in state code a little later on in some further slides. But just know that there are only 2 as authorized by the state, which is the homestead exemption and the owner occupancy credit. Fun fact, we are also the dog licensors of the county, so if you have a canine friend, we implore you to follow state law and get that dog licensed, not just because it is law, but because if your dog gets away from you, the only way we have to get it back to you is by that license and your information on that application. So very important work there. And then perhaps maybe one of my most favorite things that we do is our strong team of 3 individuals in our weights and measures department who are in charge of ensuring all weights and measures across the county are sealed. So you're probably familiar if you go to one of the 5,000 gas pumps in our county, you'll see my sticker or my seal on the gas pump. Or if you go to your local grocery store and you're in the produce, deli, meats and cheeses department, you'll see my sticker on that weight machine. Why? Because we are checking that that pound of turkey that you are buying is actually a pound of turkey, and that gallon of gas that you are purchasing is actually a gallon of gas. So it's our consumer protection unit of the auditor's office, if you will. And then, of course, everything else we do is as described in this lovely document of Ohio laws and administrative rules. I know it seems like a lot, but there is so much more that we do other than just on this list. And next slide, please. Thank you. We're getting there. So the next slide, slide 4, is just talking about a few things that we're doing right now. So right now, we are, of course, in Board of Revision season. Every year, if a citizen or taxpayer of the county does not agree with the value that is assessed to their property, they have the option to file a complaint, and that is through the Board of Revision process. I am sure you all are familiar with that process, but just know, same dates every year, January 1 to March 31. The other thing that I will talk about in a future slide is all of the enhancements that we have done to this specific page on our website, and there are more to come as well. And then, of course, we're out on this auditor. We are a little over 50% of the way through of all of our 49 jurisdictions here in the county, and I'm happy to report that the first of my leadership as the auditor 2025 annual report is now available on the website, so I'd encourage you to go look at that as well. And then next slide. Oh, sorry. I hate that you have to do that. So in the auditor's office, we of course serve the community, but we certainly do not do it all. We are not the only county executive office in operation. So this slide basically explains this. So we do not, fun fact, collect the property taxes. That's our county treasurer, Jill Schiller. We do not manage deeds. That is our county recorder, Scott Crawley. We don't provide surveys or maps. That's our county engineer, Mr. Beck. And we certainly do not make abatement or tax policy. That is you all wonderfully elected local officials combined with our state lawmakers who we send to serve us in the state capitol. So with that said, next slide. And you'll have to bear with our technology here. She's got to close out of the presentation and reopen it every time we go to a new slide. But with that said, I'm on slide number 6. And here in the Hamilton County Auditor's Office, I just love to make this point because we work in values, not in taxes. That, all of this to say on this slide is just because your home value increases or decreases 5%, that does not mean your property tax bill is going to follow or increase or decrease that 5%. Everyone's property tax bill or property tax liability across the county is different in every pocket of the county. So next slide. The next slide is a perfect example or illustration of that. We have a 3-area comparison for you. We always like to use the jurisdiction we're in, so you'll see in the middle is Miami Township. On the right-hand side is Sharonville, and the left-hand side is the city of Cincinnati. These are real properties, so whenever you see the word parcel, that simply just means property. So this parcel, all 3 of these parcels actually, are valued at a little over $236,000, and these are all 3 residential properties. So you'll notice in the city of Cincinnati, that parcel valued at a little over $236,000 is paying property taxes a little over $5,000 per year. Here in Miami Township, it's a little over $3,800, and over in the city of Sharonville, a little over $3,900. So this is a great visual representation and example of how that amount varies in every different pocket of the community. And that, of course, is based on a combination of your local tax laws and statutes that were passed in your locality, as well as the state tax laws, and coupled, of course, with levies that were either approved or not in your respective communities. So with that said, we want to talk about, next slide please. Sorry, I keep forgetting to tell you next, and I know you're going to do it. Okay. Oh hey, look at that. It's working now. Woohoo! So the next slide is talking about the reappraisal process. We, in the auditor's office, of course, pride ourselves on transparency and accountability. So we always publish and love to talk about the reappraisal process. We do not have control of this timing. There are 88 counties in the state, and the cycle of which we do our appraisals is determined by the state. So right now, we are doing what's called the triennial appraisal. That happens every 3 years. Or every 6 years alternating, and just know that the triennial appraisal is more of a desktop review of our parcels. It is looking at comparable sales over the last year in any given area. The mass reappraisal or mass appraisal is the big one that we do, the more boots on the ground appraisal, where we are actually going out to properties and measuring things. The last one we completed was in 2023. The next one we would be completing was going to be in 2029. However, the governor sent out a press release about a month ago moving some counties around, and ours has now been pushed back to 2030. So the next time Hamilton County will be going through a mass appraisal will be in 2030. And then just know annually we are appraising value all the time. It's not like we just do this every other 6 years and quit. Our licensed appraisers and property assessors are working on permits being pulled in every pocket of the county, new construction, new development, and we just got through Super Bowl season, so bet your bottom dollar we received a lot of calls after Super Bowl parties of folks telling on their neighbors or their friends and family saying, hey, Bill and Susie have a 3rd bathroom on the lower level of their house and your website doesn't say that. And then we have to go through the whole process of explaining to folks why permits are so important and why you need to pull permits to do work on your home. But we do contact those individuals and try to make sure that our website is as updated as possible. With that being said, I want to talk a little bit about the new website. You all probably are aware that the website has been virtually the same aesthetically and as a user for 32 years. Dusty was actually very, very ahead of his time and forward thinking in terms of putting what our website is today together. We consider our website the gold standard out of all 88 counties here in the state. We have tons of folks from other counties that constantly contact us and ask us how we are able to pull off certain things that we do, and we appreciate that, and we want to make sure that that level of customer satisfaction and availability to all of this information is available to the residents of the county. So not only did our website get a facelift, it is now completely compliant with federal law. There was a federal law that went into effect this year in terms of accessibility. So you'll notice in the bottom left-hand corner, we now have an accessibility plugin on our website. This means our website can be transformed into multiple different types of font for different types of dyslexia, as well as multiple different colors for different types of color blindness, and so much more to make sure it's completely accessible to the public. We also have a translation tool that translates our website into over 100 different languages. This is important because we have about 120,000 unique users that visit our website any given month, and they're from about 100 different countries. So we have a lot of people looking at the information, and we want to make sure it's as easily accessible as possible. And I know it's not the sexiest of government work, but we now have a search bar. We've never had a search bar before, and it has proven to be very, very helpful to find things that folks are looking for. So you can type whatever you're looking for into that search bar, and it'll bring it up everywhere it exists on our website. A little bit more about the Board of Revision update. By the way, we did this in stages, the updating of each page on our website, so as to not overwhelm the taxpayers of Hamilton County. But I'm proud to say that now all pages are updated and up to our 2026 standard of what we're creating here on our website. So the Board of Revision website now has a video series to explain to homeowners what the Board of Revision process is, how you navigate that, and what types of evidence to bring to your case, because the Board of Revision is a quasi-judicial process. There are designees from my office as 1/3 of the representation on the Board of Revision, as well as the County Treasurer's Office, and whomever ends up being the President of the Board of Commissioners any given year as well. So all three of those offices have designees and serve on this board and make the best decisions that they can make for the taxpayers of Hamilton County. Some other things we've done here on this website is it goes all the way down and provides a Q&A with drop-down boxes that are very user-friendly for taxpayers. And my favorite part of what we added to this page is if you do in fact decide to file a complaint with the Board of Revision and you click on that form to start filling it out, a pop-up box will come up and ask you, did you read the directions? And you have to click yes or no. And it has been very, very helpful to get folks to understand that all of the information is at their fingertips on that page should they choose to read it. And some other things we have done, of course, is update the property search function on our page. I'm going to skip ahead to this next one because this is on that same page under the tax distribution tab. But again, you can look up any parcel in the entire county, and this is on every single parcel. This is probably my favorite piece of the property search function because this breaks down for you to a penny what you are paying in your property taxes and where those are going. So the colorful pie graph there at the bottom, you will notice the majority, largest piece of this pie graph is going to go to what? Our local public schools. Why? Because school funding is still unconstitutional here in the great state of Ohio. So until Ohio comes in and puts in their fair share in the state biennium budget, that burden will always be on us as the property taxpayers until that shift is made whole. We were very, very close to completing that via the Fair School Funding Plan, which is a bipartisan funding plan for public schools that was developed by us lawmakers and originally started with Cupp and Patterson, Representative Cupp, former Speaker Cupp now, and Representative Patterson. But again, it was a bipartisan solution to make public school funding here in Ohio constitutional. We passed 2 phases. And unfortunately, the most current General Assembly abandoned the 3rd phase of the Fair School Funding Plan last year's biennium budget. So now we are not close to getting constitutional school funding, whereas we were this close of almost finishing the job, which would have provided, by the way, the most property tax relief for folks around the state. But unfortunately, they did not finish that, and we are percentage-wise worse off than when we started, when the Ohio Supreme Court rendered that decision that it was in fact unconstitutional, the way in which we fund public schools here in Ohio. So all of that to say, the majority of parcels in any given county across the state what you're paying the majority of through your property tax liability is for our schools. And that is because that imbalance of funding. But again, down to the penny, every other piece of that wedge will show you where your property tax money is going. Okay, a little bit about the rental registration. I've already talked to you about the fraud that was happening and why this is so important. But again, just to reiterate, if you are a landlord in Ohio, you are required to file this form with your county auditor's office. If you do not, there is a penalty that we are allowed to assess, which is $150. But again, this is just important for the taxpayers of the county so that they know you are truly the landlord and they know who to contact when they need something. And then, I apologize, this looks a little jumbled on the screen, but in front of you, both slides 14 and 15 are about the 2 property tax relief programs that we are authorized to administer by state law. First, of course, is the homestead exemption. The homestead exemption, as you are probably aware, is for those folks who are 65 years of age and older. And in recent years, there has been an income cap added to this exemption, so you cannot make more than $41,000 to qualify. Social Security income is not included in that, just so you know that. But we have provided this graph for you, or this illustration on the right side of the screen, to illustrate how good this program once was for our senior citizens and those on fixed incomes. Compared to today, it is not getting the same bang for its buck. In other words, the homestead exemption has lost its luster for taxpayers, and that is unfortunate because if the state lawmakers truly cared or wanted to give instantaneous property tax relief to the folks who need it most, it would be our seniors, and it would be by revamping the homestead exemption. So my ask to you, and I promise this is the only ask in the presentation, is to help me help you and contact your state rep, your state senator, and even the governor if you'd like to send him an email, because the governor did create the property tax work group that functioned last year. And it had 2 wonderful public servants from here in Hamilton County, which is former Floor Majority Leader Bill Seitz and former County Commission President Denise Streethouse. But long story short, they created a long report of what needs to be fixed, the multiple ways in which we could give folks property tax relief here in Ohio. And unfortunately, the state lawmakers have not acted on any of those, other than 2 that are not going to provide as much relief. But I just want to point out in this illustration, back in 2014, when there was no income requirement, and I'll repeat that, there was no income requirement before on the homestead exemption. The normal or median average home value was at $155,000, meaning for the average senior, they were getting about $565 exempted from their property tax bill, which is a good portion. Cut to 10 years later in 2024, home values have gone up almost 70%, and unfortunately that homestead exemption has only gone up 7%. So as you can see, it's not only not indexed for inflation, but it certainly isn't keeping up with the rate in which the market is moving. And by the way, something I didn't mention when we were talking about the appraisals is under state law, we have to appraise property at what's called FMV, which is fair market value. Meaning if the market's doing good, home values are going to be great. If the market isn't doing so well, home values will take a dip, and we have certainly seen that before here in Hamilton County's history. So just know, as long as the market stays good and houses are selling at prices they've never sold before, home values are going to continue to rise. But again, my ask to you is to please contact your state lawmakers and ask them to move the bills. There are multiple bills that have something to do with fixing the homestead exemption. Unfortunately, they're just sitting in committees and collecting dust. And we really need to get those bills moving to get folks that need it most the help that they need. And then lastly, the owner occupancy credit. This property tax relief program, as authorized by the state, just simply says if you live in and own your primary residence, you get 2.5% off of your property tax bill. So this typically happens in the closing process when people buy their homes. But I would encourage everyone who is here tonight, anyone who may be listening to this presentation at a later time, please pull up your property on our website. Make sure that you are getting either or of the property tax relief programs you think you qualify for, and if you are not, we ask that you contact our office as soon as possible. Here is our contact information, and we run a very strict program on an open door policy, so if anyone needs anything at all, or if you have anyone here in the township that has questions about their property on the website, please know you can contact us. And the last thing I'll say about this presentation and this closing slide specifically is this may look like any closing slide you've ever seen on a PowerPoint presentation, but this one is historic in nature. This is the first time in county history that we have our own social media handles. Prior to, it was just Dusty out there on his own social media handles, but we now have official channels on social media, and that's important because we know folks are accessing their information in many different ways. Social media is one of them, so we want to make sure that this information we're giving you tonight is also available in that format. So if you're not already following us, please do. We post a lot of great information there, and there of course is our website, phone number, and email as well. And by the way, all of the videos that are now uploaded to our website, particularly the ones surrounding Board of Revision, are available on our YouTube page as well. So with that, I will stop yapping at you, and if either of you, any of you three trustees have any questions, or fiscal officer or Administrator Brett, I'm happy to answer them. But again, I thank you for the time on the agenda, and appreciate you letting us come out here and share this information with you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Any questions?
No, very informative. Thank you for coming out.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too.
All right, before we go next, I promised Mark Wanick back here. We have a young scout in the back of the room doing working on a merit badge, isn't he?
Yes, so I'd like to introduce Steyer Hoffner, and he brought his dad with him here tonight, Aaron Hoffner. And what Steyer is doing is working his way towards the Eagle Scout rank, which many people recognize as the highest rank you can obtain in scouting. There's a number of required merit badges that a scout has to earn in order to do that. Citizenship in the community is one of those required merit badges. And we've been learning about how important it is to live in a community, what living in a community provides for us, and then also, of course, what our responsibilities are as a citizen in the community. But one of those requirements is also to go and be a part of a community government meeting. So that's why we're here tonight. Probably one of also the bigger requirements of the merit badge is to get the scout involved in the community. They have to do 8 hours worth of service for the community. Steyer is very involved at his church, Whitewater Crossing. So he had that requirement hands down. So he's already got that one taken care of. His dad, Aaron, is also involved at the church and is also the Cub Master here for PAC 178. So both of them serve in our community. So we appreciate the chance to be here tonight.
Well, welcome. Hope you get a lot out of this. All right. Administrative report, Mr. Brett.
Good evening, everyone. Going to start as normal with the Jordan Road water line. When I prepared this report for you guys to see, it was actually yesterday, and a lot of things have happened since yesterday. So the Phase 3 plans are approved by the Clays Waterworks. They're off to the Ohio EPA this morning. I'm hesitant to give a start date because we're pretty tight on the timeline, but let's just say that I'm fairly enthusiastic that it will be soon. Everybody's worked hard on getting this far, and I think we're going to see water up Jordan Road fairly soon here. The West Park expansion, Ole Site Solutions, I said last month they'd lost some time. Jokingly at the construction meeting we had, I said if you're going to get anything done, you're going to have to get a compactor with pontoons, and we actually had to cancel our construction meeting last Friday because the area was flooded. So they're going to have a meeting this Friday, and hopefully it'll dry out and we can get back on track with that. I mentioned last month about the opening on the Hamilton County Board of Health. I'm pleased to announce that Mark Rosenberger was elected to a 5-year term. So not only do we have Mark as a township resident who's on that board, but Max Miller, who is a resident of North Bend in Miami Township, actually took the remainder of my term when I left there to come here. So Max is up for reappointment next year, and hopefully he'll give it another 5 years. Events and communications, Lindsay and I are continuing to meet about the summer concerts in America 250. Don't forget the extravaganza on March 28th and Shred Day on April 25th, 9 to noon. One of the things we're working on for the America 250 is a t-shirt design, and I hope to have that to you guys for approval before the next meeting. And it's from a local resident who answered our call last fall for design work, and it's turning out really well. We had talked about doing a drone show, and so we're all learning a little bit about drones. When Lindsay asked the drone show person what kind of area they needed, she showed them an area where we were thinking about holding the concert, and they said, oh yeah, the parking lot and the ball field will be enough. So we're like, well, that kind of eliminates spots for the concert. So Tim Helms was good enough. I contacted him. He's doing the James Landing development, and he plans by June to have the roadways in, the grading complete, and they probably will be started on one building, but he is willing to block off the rest of that, let us use that area. So the drone people are coming out next week to see if they can make use of that area. So moving right along with that. Sorry. The Bridgetown Road sewer crossing. I met with Ian Lansky and Dave Siegert from MSD last week. We discussed a couple of options for getting under Bridgetown Road, and I also talked with a couple of the property owners over there. The first step that they need to take is to ask the county for sewer availability, and Dave has been good enough to volunteer to have a meeting with property owners in the area, either early in the morning or later in the afternoon, before he goes to work or after, because he lives in the township. And he's going to explain the time that it would take to do a public sewer and give them the options on a private sewer. So if we can get that line under the road while UDF is doing their sewer, I think we could save a lot of money with that and get sewer availability to some people, and I think eliminate some failing systems, and also open up some lots for future development there. I mentioned last month that UDF needed to encroach on our property a little bit to do their pier wall, and I asked them to kind of clear out some of the scrub on our hillside. They got a tremendous amount of it, and Wayne and I have looked at it. We don't think there's that much for them left to do, so when UDF gets done with their landscaping and things, we'll be able to go in and follow that and make the whole area look nice. So between what UDF is doing and what James Landing is doing, our walking trail area out here is going to look really nice. Let's see. So since I got here, I keep saying I wanted to have some type of a monthly meeting for residents, for businesses, for people. And honestly, there's just been so much to do, I haven't done it. So I finally thought, okay, we've got to get this done. So for lack of a better name, I'm calling it Let's Talk Miami Township, and just asking people to come and join us for updates and conversations on what's going on in the community. Our first scheduled meeting is going to be April 13th at 7 a.m. Here in the conference room, which is right next door. I'll have coffee and donuts and probably some orange juice things. So I'd love to see as many people that can come and be there. The idea is we'll We'll hear what you have to say about the community and what projects you'd like to see us doing. I can tell people about upcoming community events and projects. I love it when you can ask questions and we can share our feedback with you, and I can let the trustees know what people wanted to ask in a kind of a non-formal discussion. And we'll be open to discuss any topics or anything that impacts the community that you have on your mind. So I'd like to invite everybody to come. We'll put this on our website, and look forward to seeing as many people as can make it. And then I do have a couple things that aren't on your copy. I just found out today, as the trustees know, we've had a lot of trouble with the electric outlets down at Station 69 on East Miami River Road. And I found this interesting. We found out that back when the building was built, there were a lot of GFI plugs that were recalled. And we currently have about 69 GFI plugs that were part of that recall. And Brennan Electric is getting those and going to get those replaced for us. That would explain why the fire department's been having trouble with that. And one other piece of business, because it came up today with the water line, is, and we received this late, but I did want to see if we could act on it tonight and talk about it under new business, is with the change in the way we're going to cross the creek on East Miami River Road, we're going to eliminate a heat tape, and the Village of Cleves Waterworks would like us to sign a memorandum of understanding that if we would have an issue with that pipe freezing in the future, that we would go back and provide that heat tape at our cost. And I think that's a very reasonable request. The current water line that actually hangs out in the creek with the flow of water that we have has never been a freezing problem, so we don't expect this will be a freezing problem either. And it will eliminate that pipe hanging in the creek, so I think that's a win-win for everybody. So we can discuss that further during new business, but that's all I have, unless you have something for me.
Any questions for the administrator?
I will just say that I applaud you for doing the Let's Talk Miami Township. I know you've talked about that for a long time, like you stated, and I think that that's great. I still think that we should consider an ambassadors meeting in addition to that at a more convenient time that the public can attend, but I think that this is a great start, and I think that both of those can work in tandem. So thank you for that.
Mr. Whiten?
I have nothing. No.
All right. Township Department reports. All those department reports are now being submitted to the administrator. There's copies of all those department reports in the packet, so feel free to read over those. All right. Let's go to old business. Mr. Brett, we have a approval of the proposal for the exterior of the administration building refurbishment. We had a recommendation down here for Ellis for a maintenance total cost of $24,460.25.
That's correct. We had several people interested in the project. Unfortunately, we had somebody who was going to do a chemical treatment last year, and he specializes in this type work, restoration work, and cedar homes in particular. And his crew basically told him that they didn't want to travel this year. So he backed out on a bid. We had a couple other people. The people who manufactured the beams recommended that the actual beams be corn blasted. So we're going to do a combination of corn blasting and pressure washing and peroxide washing. So the beams themselves, if they pressure wash them and it works out well, then fine, we'll save a little money off this price. If they have to corn blast them, it's included in this price. I was actually shocked. I thought it would be a lot more. This does not include painting the painted part of the building. We'll get a separate quote on that. But I would recommend them. They sent some photos and things of work they've done. They have a really nice website, have all the insurance and everything that we need. So I would recommend we award that bid to them.
Did we get any more bids besides this one?
No.
Have we seen their work that they do
Yes,
live or in a picture?
in pictures.
Did you send that to us? 'Cause
Yeah.
I don't remember seeing it.
I'll resend it.
Can you send it to me?
Yeah. Yeah, actually,
No, I didn't see
it's
it.
worth going to their website to look because they've got more than just what they sent me there.
All right. And we didn't get any other bids besides this one?
No, and I think it was because of the corn blasting. The other gentleman that contacted me that did corn blasting was from Fort Wayne, Indiana, and
He was the next one closest to us?
yeah.
Goodness.
Yeah. I had honestly, until the beam manufacturers told us about this last year, I didn't know that corn blasting existed.
No, I didn't
So,
know.
but they actually use the corn cob, and apparently it's abrasive enough to clean the wood, but it's a soft enough material that it doesn't eat the wood away like a sandblast would. So, should be an interesting project.
So on this project, this two sections says pressure wash and stain. Is that the chemical aspect of this, the 15.6, and then the media blasting is another 8,300 if it doesn't work?
That's
Or-
correct.
Okay.
And the media blasting is the corn?
Yeah,
Is that what it is?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked about this for months. I appreciate Mr. Brett's effort. We've talked at length through this entire process. Again, it is unique, the whole corn blasting aspect, and it's just, but it's something that we don't want to award a bid to somebody and then find out after the fact that that was necessary and have to go back, start from scratch. So I think that this gives us the best option where they really can do both and are kind enough to work with us and try the first, effort with the chemical approach. And whereas, they could have said, take it or leave it, this is what we're charging, and it doesn't matter what we have to use. So, I think it's a good idea. I'm ready to make a motion. I know we've talked about this for years, but unless there's other comments or questions.
If I can just, one other thing that may affect this price is I'm still waiting on the original sealer and
Right.
stain that was used by the manufacturer. If there's a price difference, I'll get that to you, but I think we want to go back. We want the building to look as close to original as we can. So they said they'd have no problem with whatever they recommend using, but we just don't have that from them yet.
Okay, any other discussion?
Yeah, I just want to make sure I understand you correctly. So this company is the only one that does corn blasting?
They're not the only one that does corn blasting. They're the only ones that chose to bid it. I contacted two other, I don't want to say local, they're regional people. And the only other
Nobody
person
else
that, no, they didn't have time in their schedule.
Okay.
Apparently, corn blasting is in demand. They do other work than just corn blasting too, though.
Okay. No, I don't have anything else.
Okay.
So I'll make a motion that we approve the estimate from Ellis Maintenance Tool and the cost of, Mr. Brett, would you recommend that price or an up to amount?
I'd like to see it up to $25,000.
Okay. Again, I know it's one of these, you'll hear me say this a lot tonight because we have a lot of expenditures on the agenda, but it's just going to get more expensive as time goes on. So, and more costly because of the wear and tear. So with that in mind, again, I will make a motion that we go with Ellis Maintenance Tool at a cost to up to $25,000 for refurbishing the exterior wood on this community center.
I will second it.
Okay, Mr. Blanton?
Yes.
Mr. Volrath?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes.
All right, next on the old business agenda is the approval of the asphalt repair, seal coat, crack sealing, and restriping. Mr. Brett, you want to go through where that bid?
Yeah, so we did receive a couple bids on this. The the low bid was from Julius Howe, who did our parking lot down at the park last year. You probably noticed, especially during the summer concerts, the drains in the parking lot have all settled. So his price includes cutting out the blacktop around those, re-blacktopping those in, doing up the patch and sealing around that, and then crack sealing the entire parking lot, then seal coating the entire thing, 2 coats, and then striping it. So we'll schedule that right after we get done with the exterior, so we're not running the chemicals down on the new blacktop. But his price was, I thought, fair, and compared to what we've done in the past. He also is a township resident, so he takes pride in what he does for our township, and we've always had good luck with him.
Any discussion?
No, again, I know this is another one, but this is our hub. This is our township center, and I think that with how much it's utilized for events, every single weekend, every single week, and then now our major events, I think it just needs to get done.
What?
Is the total 14,923?
Yes.
Okay. No, I don't have any discussion.
Okay. I'll make a motion that we approve the asphalt repair, seal coat, crack sealing, and restriping from Julius Howe at a cost of $14,923.
I will second it.
Okay, Mr. Blanton?
Yes.
Mr. Volrath?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes.
All right, moving to new business. First thing on the agenda was the approval of full-time fire department member Ben Schneider. Mr. Robinson and I think we were present when he was sworn in. This is more the formality piece. So I'll make, if there's no other discussion, make that
Discussion for me.
Okay, I'll make that recommendation that we approve full-time fire department member Ben Schneider.
So you're making the motion?
Yes.
Okay, I will second, and as we both said last month, seems like a good kid, right individual.
All right, Mr. Blanton?
Yes.
Mr. Volrath?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes.
All right, next on the agenda is, I'm going to let Mr. Brett kind of go through this, the approval for the system to control the heating and air system at Station 69, the K Company, total cost in there $10,867. Mr. Brett.
So as most of the trustees know, we've had trouble with that building, especially the heating and cooling portion since it opened. And while we recently found out there was a computer system that we already had for this building, in going back and trying to find the distributors and manufacturers of these products down at Station 69, we were fortunate enough to find out that there's a computer system to control that, and that a lot of things had been not set or incorrectly set when it opened. So they came out, took a look at it for us, helped us get it set where it is. This seems like a lot, but this includes a computer system that they will be able to VPN into and help us with the system, so we won't be paying for them to come out every time we need them. I think we found that the access to the system up here has been great, so I think we'll have a lot less problem with humidity and water on the ceilings and things down there after this. So sounds like a lot of money, but I think it'll be well worthwhile. And the separate computer, I think, is a good idea because we don't want them to be able to access any of our computer system.
Okay. Any discussion?
No.
Okay. I'll make a motion for the approval for the system to control the heating and air system at Station 69 through the K Company.
I will second it.
Who Volrath, you moved? I'm sorry.
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Blanton?
Yes.
Mr. Volrath?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes.
All right. Next piece is going to be the approval of Strasser Road resurfacing for 2026. Total cost $143,848.44. Mr. Brett?
So I think that this is probably the lowest amount that we've spent on road repairs for some time, and that's because in the past 2 years, the board has spent a lot of money getting a lot of these streets in very good shape. Dan normally goes out and looks at these, but the representative from Strasser happened to be in the area. She caught Mr. Miller. They went around and looked at this. While I'm requesting this tonight, we still are going to review the streets, and but if we approve this much, we know we need these done, and we'll solidify our spot in their schedule. So Mr. Blanton and Mr. Miller and I will be reviewing some other streets, but we'd like to at least get on schedule for these. And I will remind everybody that Whispering Farms Drive is going to be a major cost, so we also asked Strasser to help it. Well, actually, their representative went out and took a look at that for us too, and said it wasn't something they could do, but that's going to be costly, so I think staying in this price range this year is going to be good for us.
Agreed.
Any discussion?
No.
Mr. Blanton?
No, I just think we need to keep our roads. Our maintenance department does a great job with them, and plowing and sawing and taking care of them. I think we need to take care of them and keep our residents, not our residents, but our residential streets in top shape for people who want to live here and keep the property value up in our township. So I think it's a win-win for us. So I'll make a motion to approve Strasser Road resurfacing for 2026, $143,848.44.
Second?
Mr. Blanton?
Yes.
Mr. Volrath?
Yes.
And Mr. Robinson?
Yes.
All right, last of the new business is the approval of SC Construction Materials resurfacing at Maple Grove Cemetery. This is a total cost of $101,568. State bid contract pricing. Mr. Rick, can you give us some background on this?
So Dan may be the only one who can remember the last time work was done on the cemetery roads. It's been a while.
It's been a long time.
Wayne told me that it was prior to his coming to work here. The roadways have just gotten to the point where we spent good money after bad patching them, and it's just unfortunately time to bite the bullet and do it right. This gentleman is someone who uses materials that are provided by Barrett or Terry Products out of Fairfield. Terry Products is now a division of Strasser. So we know that he's using good products. We also know from Strasser that they help him calibrate his distribution so they're getting the proper material mix and things. So it's just, it's time to do it and do it right. And hopefully it'll be another 15 years before we have to do it again.
Yeah, I will say, going down there for, I think you probably noticed how bad some of those were down there, Barry, when we were down there planting flags. Been a long time in coming. I think doing this all at one time versus trying to piecemeal is kind of the way to go here.
I think it's been over 20 years.
And the majority of it's getting 2 coats, only the lower level and
At least.
the upper level on the
That's at
east
least
side
been
are
20 years.
getting 1, so.
All right, any discussions from the board?
I mean, that's a big number, but I agree with everything that's been said. And again, it's just one of those things that we got to bite the bullet. I will point out that to the public that's listening, again, we previously were holding 2 meetings a month, and now we're holding 1 meeting a month. So, and the other meeting was in the afternoon. So this seems like a whole lot, and we're spending a whole lot of money all at once, but typically that could be separated into 2 different separate meetings. And second, it's good that this is in an evening meeting where folks can attend from the public, to where, previously some of these expenditures were introduced at a afternoon 3:15 meeting, and it wasn't as accessible. So it seems like a lot, but at least we're doing it in the public eye, and when we're more accessible to the public. But with that, otherwise, no, I support this
No
this
discussion.
expenditure.
All right, well, I will make a motion for the approval of SE Construction Materials for the resurfacing at Maple Grove Cemetery, total cost $101,568. That's state bid contract pricing.
I will second it.
Mr. Blanton?
Yes.
Mr. Volrath?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes.
All right, before we move to public comments, I just want to kind of talk
we
about
can-
the...
I'm sorry, Mr. Volrath, if we could add that memorandum of understanding for the
All right.
Please Waterworks.
All right, the MOU. This memorandum is entered into by and between the Village of Cleves through Cleves Waterworks, Miami Township. And really the purpose is to document the parties' agreement regarding a modification of Phase 1 of the Jordan Road Water Main Project, specifically the extension of the water main across Jordan Creek Bridge. Really what they're asking for here is if in fact we need to add this, we're planning on no heat tape at this phase of the game. If at some point in time that becomes necessary, what Cleves Waterworks is asking us to do is to cover the heat tape, the electric hookup and all those pieces. So I think it's something we were planning on price-wise anyway to add it in. I don't think we need it at this point, but if we do need it, that's kind of what they're asking us to sign
So
here.
we can move forward. Yeah, definitely.
So the only other thing that goes along with this change is right now there is a private water line that runs across someone's property near the creek, and that's where we would like to go tie back in on the other side of the creek. So we'll have to contact them, and apparently the private line doesn't have a recorded easement, and we'll need to get an easement in place. So I'll work with Alex to get that in place. I think it'd be better for the property owner to have that legal easement. And so right now I think 3 homes are served off that private line. So that'll also make it better for them. They won't have the maintenance of that anymore. So.
Any other discussion on this?
So with this MOU, there's nothing else that we are waiting for from Cleves, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Yeah, I just
Let's go.
want to move forward.
All right, I'll make a motion here that we agree to the memorandum of understanding on the Jordan Road Water Main Project.
Make a motion to include with that Jim Brett can sign for the township.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I'll make that motion that Mr. Brett can sign for us on behalf of the township.
I will second.
Mr. Blanton?
Yes.
Mr. Volrath?
Yes.
And Mr. Robinson?
Yes.
Thank you very much. I apologize again for this being last minute, but you know, it is important to keeping that project on schedule.
All right, before we hit public comments, I want to remind everyone this meeting is conducted under the rules of civility and decorum. We welcome public participation and differing viewpoints, but we ask that all the comments remain respectful and orderly so the public's business can be conducted efficiently. If you have something that you want to speak on, certainly there were some speaker cards. Did you receive any, Mr. Brett?
No, I did not.
Is there anyone that has public comment?
I do, but I don't have a card filled out.
Okay, come on up.
My name's Barry Moorline. I live at 5612 Gum Run Road, Cleves. The question I've got, we just discussed resurfacing Maple Grove Cemetery, but I think we need to make it clear to the public. We're using the term resurfacing. That's not an inch or two overlay by a paver. We're talking tar and chip of some sort, correct?
Yes.
That's correct.
That is correct?
Yes.
And I thought I heard you something about 2 layers on one section and 1 layer on another.
Yes.
Now, are they just going to go in there and do that, or are they going to do any surface repair before they do that if it's
They're
needed?
gonna do blacktop patching to all the bad spots. This company will do everything. So there's quite a bit of patching that's got to be done to the blacktop before we do that.
That's the first question, and I'll move real quick here. From also what I understand here is that Phase 1, you've got that approval by the Cleves, and you just signed on that memorandum to move forward with Phase 1. That is just to connect East Miami River Road to Jordan Road, is that correct?
That's correct.
And we do not have Phase 3 finalized?
It went to the
approved?
EPA this morning.
It went to the EPA, and that could take, anybody got an approximate idea on how long that could take?
It's really just revamping what they already had a little bit, so it should, I hate
I know.
to speculate, but we're guessing it'll take them less than 2 weeks.
So possibly in a month. Next month, we'll know something, maybe we'll be moving forward.
I'm planning on, provided Bracken Ballard can move in from their current project to this project, I'm hoping that they're well into it before our next meeting.
All right, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Comments from the board? Ms. Rose?
I have two things. One, I brought this up last month, and I asked Mr. Brett to print it off. I know it wasn't added to the agenda, but I don't know if we're prepared to, and I think he included a copy of this in your packet, a separate page, but I'd like to revisit the, I guess it was, I don't know if it was a policy or just a motion made, but this, Board of Trustee Policy and Advice of Legal Counsel. I don't know if you guys got a chance to look at that over the last month, but I brought it up last meeting, and I still think that this is unenforceable. I think that it could infringe on the rights of our employees, and I think that we need to rescind this policy. Number one starts out, all requests for legal opinions on behalf of the township shall be made exclusively through the Board of Trustees approved legal counsel. There are legal resources at the Attorney General's office. What if one of our employees wants to take advantage of something like that? They wouldn't be in compliance with just number one. So there's things that either this needs to be revamped or just rescinded altogether, because I don't know if Alex put this together or who put it together, but I think that this is a bad policy. When it was presented, I was kind of caught off guard, and I'd like to suggest that we remove that from our policy handbook.
Any discussion?
All my discussion will be is our attorney did prepare it, and I would like to keep it in place, so.
Okay.
Okay, I don't know, I mean.
I'm
go ahead.
happy to take a look at this, but I think it's probably something we need to discuss if we can in executive session.
Okay. All right. And the only other thing is that we just had a lengthy discussion and presentation from our county auditor. There has been a lot of talk and presentations, and I think that we're just scratching the surface as far as property taxes. There's a lot of discussions as far as levies, and I think that the public is scrutinizing the way we operate our government, and really at the federal, state, and local level, all the way through and through. There are more eyes and more questions being asked than I can ever recall, and frankly, I don't think that that's a bad thing. With that in mind, I actually reached out at lunchtime, on my lunch break today, to the Auditor of State, and I requested a formal audit. I made a formal request for the state auditor to conduct a standalone 2025 audit of our operation, and that break from the normal protocol of contracting with an independent accounting firm to conduct the audit, because the auditor can actually do a more in-depth audit, and I think that
we owe it to our residents, to our taxpayers, to our voters, to make sure that we're as transparent, and we are accountable to them. So I wanted to inform the board that I took that step, and I look forward to our staff working with the auditor's office. And I think that, again, it's incumbent upon us as leaders of this township to instill that confidence that the residents deserve. So if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer, but I wanted to let the board and the public at large know that.
I'm not sure, maybe I'm missing something, but
I agree.
it's not we get audited every 2 years.
Right.
We have no
We just-
choice who we pick.
Right.
They pick it for us, the auditor. The state does it so many times, and then they send it out because they're so busy. So I'm not sure where that's coming from.
And we just went through an audit
Right.
a year and a half ago.
But we don't have the choice. It's the state
Right.
that gives us the firm, the company. We don't pick the company,
Right.
so.
We've
Well,
been going through audits since I've been here, and I've been here.
Every 2
I'm on my
years.
13th year. Cindy's on her, what, 24th?
We've had the state auditor several times. We've had so many firms, yeah. But it's the state auditor
The
that
auditor
actually
comes
is the
in,
one, right?
And they do the
I mean,
whole
you wanna
audit
add to that?
of everything.
Well, so I again, was at the Ohio Township Association. I've had subsequent conversations. I found out that I didn't even know, because again, I just completed my first term, that you can request a post-audit conference with the audit firm or whoever's doing the audit. I didn't even know that that was an option for the trustees. So, there's been questions brought up from concerned citizens, and frankly, again, the auditor's office does a more in-depth audit, and so I don't know why we wouldn't want to take advantage of an opportunity like that, to where we can look at our residents and say, hey, we're doing things on the up and up, and everything's great, and so I certainly
Yeah, all of
hope.
our audits are online. Anybody can go look at them. But like I said, the state is the one that picks when it's a rotation process. We don't have that choice of who we pick. So.
I think again, I've done some research before I made this request, and so we can, and I have done a formal request to have them conduct the audit. They can cancel the contract with the IPA, the independent.
And it don't matter to me who does it. I mean,
Yeah.
I just do what the state tells me to do.
It's done every 2 years, right?
Right, yeah.
Okay, let's move forward. Right, anything else?
No.
Yeah, can I ask a question? The way I'm understanding this, we have 3 trustees up here, and Trustee Robinson just took it upon himself to make this decision. This wasn't something that he discussed with the other 2. Why are you operating as a lone wolf?
Well,
I'm just curious. You're supposed to be a team. You're not supposed to stand on your own and make these decisions. I'd like to know why you feel the need to.
I agree.
So I checked with the auditor, and as a duly elected trustee, I can represent the township in making a request like this. And so I sent an email with the exact verbiage that was recommended, and that is something that either the administrator, the fiscal officer, or any of the trustees could make that request as a representative. So,
But my question is, why did you feel like you had to make this decision on your own without getting the respect and the consideration of your colleagues?
For your fiscal, yeah.
Don't you feel like this is kind of a break of trust? What do you
I don't. You can see the resistance that I've gotten just from doing this introduction, and I think that if this was brought up that it would die like most of the other things that I try to accomplish around here. So for me, this was the only option to take this initiative so that, again, I feel like I'm elected to represent the residents, and I feel in my heart of hearts that the residents deserve to have the confidence, and that this will hopefully ensure, and I would love for them to come back and say, you guys are doing great, but I don't know why any elected official wouldn't want to take advantage of an opportunity like that, to where you can have the auditor come in and do a more in-depth look, and I don't understand.
I can understand that.
So
if there's suspect of problems.
Yeah, there's
We
been no
haven't had
issue.
any problem.
The state goes through a cycle because they don't have the employees, so that's why they cycle
I'm
it
new to
through.
this stuff. I'm not a office worker. I worked construction all my life. But I have to agree with this man over here when he said, you all don't work together. You're not even taking each other into consideration with your decisions. You just act like a lone wolf. How can we trust you to be working together behind the scenes in your private meetings when you can't even do it here? And I'm, per se, I'm not pointing my finger at, I'm pointing my finger at you because you're the one that took the initiative to do this. Just because you have the legal right to do it, if there's no suspected problems, to me it's a slap in the face to do this. And I wouldn't expect any different reaction out of them than what you got.
well, I have concerns, and so you said if you have no concerns, I have concerns.
Okay.
And so I would like to have them come in, and we'll see what happens. And I think that, multiple times I've been blindsided, and the vote has been 2-1. And I think that this is a necessary step. And again, I feel like it's in the best interest of the township that we have this. And if we have nothing to hide and everything's good, then great, we went through the same step with just a little bit more attention to detail and scrutiny, and then how wonderful would it be for them to come through and us to say, you know what, we did our due diligence with them, and everything's fine. But
And when we find that out, I would like you to publicly at a meeting apologize to them for this.
what,
Because this.
apologize to do my job and to make sure
All right,
that,
let's continue to move forward here.
Decision.
okay.
Let's move forward.
So,
Mr. Blanton.
I just want to touch base on what you said. So, and I will say this again, this is my 13th year, and every 2 years we've been audited. And we have sat in the conference room with the auditor's office and went over auditors. Cindy does a great job with our books, She's been here over 24 years, right?
No, like 34
Is it 30?
years.
I'm
yeah.
sorry,
Yeah,
34
you're
years.
close, but
34 years, I was close.
yeah.
Take the
So
mess.
we,
Be younger.
there's nothing, everything's out in the open. The auditor comes in every 2 years. This is nothing new. It happens, and it's going to continue to happen. And we know that. It protects not only our taxpayers, it protects us.
Exactly.
So,
I
and I'll
just
move.
think if it's done automatically every 2 years, and
It is.
We have to. They tell
and
us.
it's just going to be done in 6 months, if you said it's been a year and a half ago, I think it's rather unnecessary for him to go through this procedure.
Yeah, great.
And I think it's very unresponsible for him to not at least communicate with the other 2 trustees before making this decision.
Agreed. The next thing I have, we have a annual meeting with engineer Eric Beck. We got that coming up on April 22nd with all the municipalities in Hamilton County. Also, I wanted to get a shout out to our maintenance department. Our park flooded, which it does every spring. Everybody knows that. We knew that when we built the park down there. They went in there and cleaned up And they had the walking trail back open and 3/4 of the park back open in 2 days. 2 days, and that's pretty amazing if you think about it. So it's just really amazing. They do a great job, and I just want to commend them, and that's really all I have.
Okay. Last thing I have, and Ms. Oster, you have comments before I make?
What?
You have any comments?
No, anybody can come and meet me and ask me questions and what I do, and I'm an open book, and everybody should know that, I do my job. Am I perfect? Is anybody perfect at your job? No, but and I'm an elected position. Most townships, they hire people to do their job. I do my job. So, I just want to put that out there that I'm not hiding nothing.
And you do a
I
good
do
job.
I do the best I can.
You do a great job for us.
Well, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, last thing I have is the extravaganza on the 28th. I think that's going to be a pretty good piece here within the township for the kids. I think they're going to enjoy that, so please attend. All right. Motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
All right, Mr. Blanton?
Yes.
Mr. Volrath?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes.